play that video again. Like I said, it's the Views with the Cryptic Paranormal Show, and as usual, got my co-host sitting across from me. Done?
I expect to be introduced.
Oh, sorry. Got Mr. Mike Bradley, also known as Heisenberg, also known as Angry Kitty, also known as Precious.
That's all of them.
So we got a really. What is going on about that? Oh, okay. I got you. A little mic issue, but we're good. We got a really good show coming for you guys tonight. Really cool special guest, Mr. Joe PIERI. Hello, sir.
Hi. How are you?
We're doing good, man. How are you faring through Coronapocalypse so far?
So far, so good. Everything looks good. We're healthy. Knock on wood. But you know how that is. Any given time, it could change. But
yeah, true.
We're doing well up here.
Respiratory infection symptoms?
None yet. None yet.
I don't want us to catch it through the phone.
Oh, you can catch it through the phone? Is that?
Oh, you can? Uh-oh. And I'm in trouble.
Now?
It's airway borne now.
Oh, brother. Well, that's good. I'm glad you are staying safe and healthy. So, how's that affecting, how's that affecting the paranormal thing for your team and everything? Are you guys canceling stuff? Are you going forward? Or?
Well, I think it's affecting my store most of all.
Yeah.
I shut it down just because
Sure.
they're asking us up here in Erie County in West New York, non-essential businesses to stop and cease, which I get.
Right.
The last thing I want to do is infect the store, and I've already started to do cleaning, but we decided to do some renovations here as well. We're securing the rear floor in the classroom area.
Gotcha. I saw that you had opened the portal to hell back there.
Oh, do I ever have a portal back there?
I'd like to walk through it.
You'd like to walk through it? I don't know, man. It's pretty look pretty nasty down there.
Oh, it is, and I'll tell you, there's some huge spiders down there too, and it's
I'm out.
Never mind.
Yeah, I'm out.
You should have seen some of the webs that I got from down there. I took some pictures and I posted it. They're thick and huge. I did put some spider traps around the hole that's back there now, just in case one does wander up. Maybe it'll find itself to a nice little trap.
Oh, cool! Very cool. Yeah, spiders. I'm out, man. I can deal with ghosts. I can deal with all kinds of stuff, but spiders, no, thank you.
We have a spider that lives in our kitchen window, like in between the screen and the window, the outside. His name is Norman. He's been there for some years. Like, I don't know if it's him, but people keep using it in the web. So yeah, Norman the spider.
Got a lot of people watching already, chiming in, saying hello, everybody. Hi, Lacey.
There's nothing else to do.
Hi, Colette. Yeah, I know. Our ratings should be through the roof right now.
Yeah, let's get it up, guys.
Absolutely.
So, everybody share.
Paranormal quarantine. Let's do it.
You got that right.
Let's see. Andrea Roof, Mama Roof says you need to spray with peppermint oil to get rid of those buggers down there.
Oh,
it's a cure for the coronavirus over the airwaves.
Right. So, hello, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.
Bit of peppermint oil.
So, let's get to know Mr. PIERI. I've known him kind of just basically online. I don't know if we've ever met personally or.
I think we ran course once. It was briefly, though. It was at an event down in Erie, PA.
Oh yeah, at the live paranormal or what the SuperCon. Yes.
Yeah, I was there too.
I think we crossed paths there.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers me though, because I don't really talk.
Yeah, we were both kind of quiet that weekend.
Yeah, we were.
We're like, we kind of felt a little bit out of our league at that time, but we've grown a little bit since then.
Yeah, we'll go there and run that thing.
Yeah.
No joking.
Yeah, we'll own it. So let's get to know you a little bit better, man. What's your origin story? How did you get into this paranormal thing?
Well, it started back in '86 when I was graduating from high school. And yes, I just dated myself. But when we graduated, we had to write a thesis for school. We had to put our own thesis in the library. And we all had mentors throughout the school. And I had a science teacher who was amazing. He was brilliant. He was into the paranormal. And basically, when I wrote this thesis, he told me that I really shouldn't talk out loud about it because whenever someone does, they label them. Back in the 80s, it wasn't as open as much.
Right.
He took me under his wing. He took me on my first paranormal investigation. It was done 100% different than the way we do it today.
I can imagine.
But it was fascinating. He had me. He hooked me. It was like when you cast that reel in there and you pull it in. That's what he did. And I've been hooked ever since. I even rented a haunted apartment for 5 years to live in so I could study the phenomenon back in the 90s. Didn't hold a girlfriend very long during those times, but I got to study it, which was pretty cool. And now today, X amount of years later, I retired from my day job, and now I own a paranormal oddities / spiritualist store up in downtown Depew, New York. I love throwing that down. It's like 4 buildings down here.
Yeah, I've heard of Depew.
Yeah, I mean, it's just outside of Buffalo. If you blink, you're going to go through it, but we're underneath, we're inside of an 1890 building.
Okay.
It's the only building out in this area that has a cupola on the dome up top. You can't miss it. It's a great location, and it is haunted, which is nice. I love it. It's got activity in here, and that's what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably go live after this on my page just to explore some of the EVPs that we can capture out of here since they cut the hole in the floor. And we'll see what we can get out of there. It's I'll make sure I won't get too close to the hole because my luck, I'll end up in it, and then you'll never see me again. But we do have a team, Paranormal Crossroads. That team, 10 years, 11 years now.
Yeah.
It's an old team. But we used to do live broadcasting. We started in 2009. When we did our live broadcasting, it was on Ustream, Livestream. It was on other networks. Yeah. And we used to have a wall of computers. And nowadays, you can broadcast off your phone, and it's so great, isn't it? I mean, look at what we're doing now.
Right.
Couldn't even think of this 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I really love that you guys do live. I love watching investigators do these live investigations.
We try.
We try. we kind of have always seemed to have issues with technology, but we do give it a shot. But I've watched you guys. You guys seem to have it nailed down pretty well. It's an interesting culture we live in now in the paranormal field with being able to broadcast things live.
I agree. And it's only going to get better, too. If you think about it, when you see these programs on TV, they're fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy watching them for pure entertainment value.
Sure.
But when you really want to, see some true and paranormal investigations, you go to the internet. You go to Facebook. You go to YouTube. You go to all those incredible browsing sites. And you get to watch true people investigate. And I love to watch other people and how they approach the field and their technique, their style, their personalities. I think it's better than real TV. And I encourage people. And I always try to get people out there because the more they broadcast live, the more we can enjoy. We can get away from the commercials and everything else that goes along with those other channels.
Yeah, I agree. I think people can learn a lot from each other from it, like you said. Maybe get some different ideas on how to approach, investigation. And, as people who are broadcasting, you can learn from the people watching. Like, hey, I saw something over there. Maybe you should go check that out. You can almost use it as a tool if you're paying attention, or you can pay attention to the chat going on.
Well, yeah, absolutely. People always say, well, why do you give out all your secrets? I tell them I don't have secrets. Yeah. There's no such thing as secrets in this field. We're all in it together. If someone says, can you build me a camera? That's what I do. I build them a camera. I build them a portable, mobile broadcasting device that I think there's 3 of them out there right now. And all these teams that broadcast live are incredible teams to do it. And I'm just happy that I could be part of it. That's the way I roll. There's no secrets. There is no secrets in this field.
Right.
Except everybody that we have on the show, and we ask them what they're doing next.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the downside of doing a show, and you get people in here that are in some kind of upcoming new show or have new episodes coming out, and it's what you really want to know about, but they can't talk about it.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah.
And I understand they're under contract, and when
Yeah.
you sign that contract, you're walking a fine line. And I always tell people, before you put your name down on that piece of paper, read it thoroughly.
Right.
You have to, because it's all it takes is one slip up, and then before you know it, you're behind the 8 ball and you're booted off.
Yeah. Yep, I could definitely see that.
One slip up and you're on Ghost Adventures.
You just had to say the name, didn't you?
I did.
Just drop it like that, man. And just real quick, for the people who are watching and on the chat room, if you have any questions for Joe, please feel free to ask. We will definitely try to get to everybody.
Yeah, I like when you ask questions, because then I don't have to look stupid by answering myself.
Yeah.
Not that you guys look stupid. But,
Nice recovery.
but when I'm here as a person that's talking with people, I am stupid. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know anything.
We know stuff.
I don't want to know things.
We know things. Whether or not it's a line of BS we're feeding you or it's like actual fact, but that's one of the things about the paranormal field. We don't know fact from feelings and belief.
And fiction.
Yeah. And fiction.
Yeah, exactly. And I always tell people, keep it real. There's no need to fake.
Right.
I have more respect for the individual that goes in a home and says, hey, you know what? We had a quiet night. We didn't get much. But you got to see our technique, meet our people. We had a good time. I have more respect for that than if someone goes in the house and starts throwing things around and calling it activity.
Oh, for sure.
And it's such a fine line, again, from the desire to do so, to entertain, and the desire, and hopefully the desire to keep it real.
Right.
True professional investigators don't need to fake anything. They know why they do it.
Yeah.
I think they handle themselves extremely well, and I'm going to say that's 99.9% of the people out there.
Sure.
It's such a great field to be in. Think about it. We're the Christopher Columbuses of this field. We're still sailing across the oceans in search of the land. And I always tell the younger generation, keep it in mind. We're laying the road or we're sailing the ship. It's your turn to get off the boat and to expand it even farther. And I think they will. I think the next generation is going to open this whole thing wide open. And it's exciting to me to see coming into my store as a young generation of paranormal investigators. You can see the excitement in their eyes, the passion. And then, I always tell myself, my gosh, that was me 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's scary how fast time goes, but I mean, that's the way it is. So if you think about it, the investigation of paranormal, it didn't really start until like 2002, 2003. That's when things started to roll a little bit. That's when the TV, all the older TV came about. They were in the process of building TV shows. Yeah. So you look back then, I say to myself, holy cow, am I really that old now? I am. But it's okay. It's okay. I just enjoy watching the young generation coming up, and you can see the excitement in their eyes. And to me, it's like all my kids now.
Now that you brought up that Christopher Columbus thing, I'm gonna start calling myself a paranormal explorer.
There you go.
That's exactly what it is. Think about it. We are exploring. When you think about it, there is no set guidelines. It's all theoretical. So technically, we are exploring. Yeah. The investigation part comes when we actually have something to go off on. But it's extremely hard to prove paranormal, as we all know.
Sean calling
I don't know, but I can't answer while he's on at the same time. So.
All right. Well.
Sorry, whoever's trying to call, we apologize.
We are not a Corona hotline. We are not a Corona. We cannot give out orders for tests.
We can only do so many things at one time here in this studio. So
we can't solve the virus right now.
Last time we tried having a caller while we had a video guest on, the whole board went down and we lost everything for like a minute and can't do it. So
I'm losing stuff right now. I am.
Whoever's listening, we apologize. We cannot take your call. If you can get on Facebook or YouTube, on RU Media Network, go ahead and do that and ask your question in the chat.
Or you can call Ray on the cell phone at 330. He can't answer his cell phone. He's working it.
Right. Got too many things going on at one time. Let's see.
So how did you start How did you start the Paranormal Oddities thing?
Yeah, how did you get into the store?
Well, it's been in works for some time. I think it was, it all goes back to, I think it was 2015, 2016, where it really started to gather some teeth to it. I did fall ill for a while, but I did do a 180 and recovered, which thank God.
Yeah.
But when I was forced with the retirement, I had to come up with something. I wasn't the type of guy who likes to sit around and do nothing. That's not in my genes whatsoever. I don't think I'll ever fully retire. But I was looking for something that people would enjoy, that we're associated with, because if you think about it, if you go around this, especially in the West New York area, there's not too much in this field at all. You do have spiritualist stores, don't get me wrong, we do have that, but we don't have the odd and unusual. I mean, my store covers everything from spiritualism, paranormal, voodoo, hoodoo, Ouija, and everything you could imagine is underneath one roof here. And that's what makes this place a little bit more special. When you walk into it, it feels like you're walking into a voodoo shop. It's got the gray and purple walls. You can see my friends behind me here. They're all here with us. So we cover everything from voodoo, aliens, Bigfoot, you name it. We actually have a seating area out front too.
Oh, wow.
And people can come together to talk paranormal, talk spirituals, talk Bigfoot, talk alien. Right now, I am sitting inside of the medium's room. As you can see, there's a beautiful mural that was painted on the wall.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Her name is Lake. She's an incredible artist. She's in college now, and she is, let me get out of the way there, she is painting all these incredible murals, and she had asked if she could do something special for me.
That is amazing.
And it is. And it has little ghosts in there, too. It's a nice little escape. Yeah. I could tip it up just to show more of it.
That is really cool.
It's so beautiful.
It on my phone, but I can see it.
I'm really blessed that I have these opportunities, again, to meet such incredible people who can do such incredible things.
Yeah.
And again, this helps out her. She helps out me. Again, it helps out all the mediums and the people who do Reiki, the people who do reflexology. They have a room they can come and rent for a very low price to enjoy their services, to actually be able to focus on what they're skilled in instead of worrying about where we're going to go.
Yeah.
The kids are home, the dog's barking.
Yeah.
Come here, and they have full reign of colored lighting in the room.
Nice.
I got a beautiful table for them. I have all these props that they can use, meaning like hourglasses to time the sessions.
Nice.
And it's fun. And if you go back farther and back of the store, we have a full-size classroom. That's an event room back there. That's where the portal to hell is right now. But
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. But we're figuring we'd get that fixed up before we open, because when we open, the store is going to be cleaned 120%.
Nice.
I just didn't want to take the chance of the virus coming in.
Sure.
But we're going to make sure this place is, when it says go, we're going to be ready to go. And we're going to have a huge amount of classes coming up.
Nice.
I'm going to put up the list soon. We're going to be making certain spiritual boxes. We're going to be doing Bigfoot statues. I mean, we have so much. We even have voodoo masks coming where you're actually going to carve the mask.
That's awesome.
Paint it, and we're ready to go. I'm excited. I'm itching.
So, as far, do you guys sell like paranormal investigation gear? Any other things? Because I know you build a lot of stuff, right?
That's correct. I reduced it down just to spirit boxes now.
Okay.
I've been doing more of the spirit board, spirit boxes. I've been testing some new theories and new approaches to using the spirit box, and I'll be happy to share it with you tonight.
Yeah. I
think it's a great asset to use when you're using spirit box, and we're finding the results to be even better. Nice. I am working on a small little device to where you can sit at a table and you can talk to the entity across the table and actually hear them in real time.
Oh, wow.
So it'll almost be like a full conversation that you can hold with these spirits. I did tested once. It did stand the hair on the back of my neck up. I don't know who I was talking to.
I bet.
But they could see me. And that was the important part. When I asked them, you can obviously hear me, but can you see me? And they replied, yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, we're all going to put that out there for everyone to use. I want people to build the same thing. And it's not expensive.
Right.
I'm trying to keep it down on the low to make sure everyone can enjoy this. That's
amazing. Yeah, actually, a while back when I was attempting to build a spirit box, I conferred with you quite a bit. And, so many people who build these boxes and sell them, it's like trying to crack Fort Knox.
Yeah.
They don't want to tell you the pieces and the parts and how to put them together. I really appreciated you being open with me and kind of giving me a little bit of guidance on what to look for.
Oh yeah, and that's what it's about, though. And when I build a box, I make it to where it's not enclosed and entrapped, meaning it's not upgradable.
Okay.
I like it to where someone says, you know what, I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to expand this. Mm-hmm. You use those parts right off the spirit board or the parapurse, and you can really make it go. And I always leave those options open. That's why mine looks sort of steampunkish in a way, with the wires showing. It looks a little rough, but they do the job. And I want it to be expandable. And that's one of the most important things, I think. We always have to grow in this field.
Oh, sure.
Once you drop anchor, let me rephrase that. Once you set your foundation in, it's kind of hard to get up and move again.
Yeah.
But I always encourage people, light that fire at the butt, get it going, see if you can find something new. I always encourage that. And whenever you're traveling down the paranormal road, don't forget to get off the sides once in a while. Get off the road. Expand your vision and see what else you can find. Keep the door open. Always think outside the box.
Yeah, absolutely. We got
people. I was gonna say, we got people asking about online.
Peggy and Wild Bill asking if you have an online store and if you ship.
See, that's the problem. Here's a quick story.
Okay.
I was trying to ship a portal to Brian Cano to use in an event, and I got to the post office. They asked me what was in it, and I told them, and I'm filling out the papers, and I had to show it to them. They shut the post office down. The front office closed because they didn't know what it was.
Oh, no. Wow.
I had to fill out a ton of paperwork to explain what each item on this portal did. And I really thought they were going to take me away. We all know what those portals look like.
Yeah, right.
And you should have seen the way the place got quiet. And I said, oh, shit, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I had to fill out all this paperwork. I had to explain what each part did.
Oh, my God.
And even then, they still wouldn't let me ship it. They said in order for me to ship it, I'd have to break it down 100% and ship each part separately.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I try not to get too much involved with the internet anymore. Eventually, I was planning on doing it this year, but with everything going on, maybe towards the end of the year, I'm going to have an online store.
Cool.
Where you're going to be able to select certain items. We'll do it that way too. Or another thing I like to do is send people the product list. You can go get the products, and then we can have a one-on-one via internet, and we can help you assemble the items as well.
That's
awesome. Cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
You're right. A lot of people don't do that.
No, not at all. That's pretty amazing.
Like you said, if we don't advance ourselves, we're never going to be taken seriously. We have to establish that we are. I know when people like to use that word, para-unity.
Yeah, somebody actually said that a bit ago.
And we have to keep that. We have to not just say it. We have to show it. We have to do it. I mean, talk is good, but action, you can't beat action.
No, not at all.
People, either we share this data, we share our information, and we move forward. I don't think it is about making money in this field. It's about proving and disproving. For all we know, the whole thing can be a big scam. And we're talking to some guy in Greenland who's giving us all these EVPs through microphones or something, playing with it. We don't know. And hopefully, like I said, the next generation should crack the code for us.
Do you think we'll find that piece of proof that 100% will prove the afterlife?
I think we can, But I always tell people, be careful what you do. I don't want to say because of certain reasons, but everyone knows why. When you go too far in a certain direction, it seems that people disappear.
Right.
I'm not saying that Tesla and those guys but a lot of his books are missing. A lot of pages out of his books are missing. Why?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be careful what you do. But eventually, I think it will happen. I mean, look at us today. We're accepting what's happening easier now.
Sure.
I don't think I'll see it, but I'm almost positive the next generation will see it. Again, we're all going to find out someday. And I always tell people, when I go, get those voice recorders ready. I'm going to spill the beans. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know on how to do it.
Nice. You're like the Penn and Teller of the paranormal.
I'm actually going backwards. My dad's making me a Tesla radio.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the journey our group, Dark Alley has been on. We started off kind of very with the cameras and we still run with the EVPs, of course, because that's nothing beats a good piece of audio.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned. And but we're kind of we're starting to get into the more spiritualist aspect of things. We're really kind of expanding our horizons. I've been starting to use and learn how to use a pendulum on investigations and the spirit board. I got the spirit box going thanks to Jeff Fent, a good friend of ours. Mr. Fent. It's been a really cool journey, and I think you'd agree. It's you can't cut off belief-based methods of investigation. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I agree 100% there.
Yeah. Let's see. Am I missing any questions? A lot of people saying, "Hey, Joe."
Hey. Again, these are all fellow investigators out there. Yeah. Great friends, great investigators, and it's always a pleasure. It's a pleasure to know each and every one of them. I've worked with a lot, and I am truly blessed. I'm telling you, I am truly blessed.
Yep. Let's see. Bill said that EVP is proof positive.
Sure.
I believe so too.
Absolutely.
Probably 99.9% of what we could be labeling evidence is probably audio recordings. Very, they're a little bit easier to kind of, debunk, I guess, if I'm looking at it, kind of
it's easier to figure that stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit easier to figure that stuff.
I mean, if there's three of you and you're talking back and forth and you hear a fourth voice that's not familiar, then you got something.
I'm waiting for just to be taking a picture or a video and the ghost just kind of looks around the car and goes,
yeah. What's up?
Hey guys.
Let's see. Frank says, "Pleasure watching the show." Thank you, Frank.
Oh, Frank, a great investigator. I'm telling you, they're Buffalo Phantom Paranormal. Or that can be. They have two different names. They go by Buffalo Phantom Hunters and Buffalo Phantom Paranormal.
So they're out in your neck of the woods.
They're out in our area. These guys are amazing. It's the two of them and a camera. They have a camera guy, then they have some associates that go along with them. And I'll be honest with you, they are thorough. They're entertaining. They're fun to watch, and they're great people. I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance to get them on the show, I would shoot for it because I really think these guys are going to go places. I really do.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'm really convinced on it. They're very approachable, and they're great. They're just very intelligent too. They know what they're doing. Yeah. And I love that. I love to watch them live. They actually do lives too, and they have one of my live broadcasting cameras, which is
nice. So yeah, Frank, hey man, message me later. We'll get you on the show for sure. Like to get some different points of view, and definitely have all kinds of different types of folks, and we'd like to expand our circle.
Yeah, we like to have good people slum it with us.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to downgrade your interview a little bit, just
here
go ahead and hit us up.
Right here, buddy.
You guys are awesome.
Let's see. Dan Porter says, not everyone is open. I got to get a little bit closer to the screen. Yeah, read the screen.
All right. Not everybody is open, so I think it will be hard to prove to everyone. Too many opinions, and it's hard to show what is real or not. I have noticed many times it's personal experiences that make us try and learn more and why something happened. I'm gonna go with that a little bit too. Yeah, it's it's what we're there. We get that personal experience, and all of a sudden we're like, I gotta get more.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I agree with him 100%. Remember that post maybe 5 years ago about the dress? What color's the dress?
Yes.
It's I think the closest way I can explain the paranormal. Some people saw certain colors, some other people saw other colors. Doesn't mean they were wrong or we were wrong. It's just our perspective, the way we look at it. And that's the same thing with the paranormal. We look at it as an open opportunity to go experience. Other people look at it as, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I was taught to put the blinders on, look down, keep walking. There's nothing wrong with that. I always tell people, don't never force it onto somebody because you don't know the circumstances they're on. I mean, they might look at it as something totally different than the way we look at it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's fun. Like I said, it's fun sitting at a table, especially when you're at a wedding and you have 25 people come up to your table, sit down and say, okay, talk to me. Tell me everything. You know, and it's,
I get that.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, just wasn't recently. I'm aging myself now, but a few years ago, we had my 20-year high school reunion. And, a lot of people from high school follow me on Facebook. And some of these people were not people that there was no ill will between us, but they weren't people that I really talked to or hung out in high school with.
Jerks.
But just the thing. You have your cliques, your circles, whatever. But I had, the cheerleader walking up to me. It's like, oh, you got to look at these pictures. Look at that. What do you think this is? What do you think that is? And I'm like, it was kind of cool. When you're open about it, people want to know. I mean, whether or not they're like willing to talk about it, if they know somebody's into it, they will approach you. And I like talking to people that don't really know what we do, and helping them through things.
I usually start talking about fashion when they come and talk to me like that.
Hey, that's awesome.
We got to wear black.
Got to wear black
t-shirt.
It's got to have a saying on it or.
That's right. Do you know why we wear black? It makes us look thinner.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know, man. It doesn't look too good in the IR.
The true reason for black, you hit it right on the head, is for IR purposes.
Oh, yeah?
On IR, if you have a dyed black, and that's what you're supposed to wear, you look like the Bee Gees. And there's a reason for that. So when you're crossing an IR camera, you will illuminate it. You don't look like a shadow figure. They can say, okay, no, that's one of our team members. That's the real reason why the black was invented for paranormal investigators.
You hear that, guys? There you go. Cool.
Yeah, so whenever it's okay to be part of the Black Shirt Society.
You're good. You're good. As long as it's dyed fabric, you're awesome. Yeah. You're ready to go. Awesome. And it's fun. Again, I like looking like the Bee Gees.
Hell yeah. Staying alive, brother.
Black makes it look like it's easier to play hide and seek in the dark.
Yeah. Wild Bill has a question. He's looking for a team near Decatur, Michigan. He has a client that really could use some help. I'm too far away to go there myself. Please message me. I guess that was probably meant to be a little bit more private, but
yeah.
Joe, if you have any clue, you can message Wild Bill. I'm not.
You put it up there.
What I usually do is go and find a paranormal chat club, you find these Facebook pages, and you'll type in the name of the town, and you'll Google the paranormal, and you get a bunch of teams listed. You can always just forward the message to them.
Sure.
But I usually give the client a heads up saying, I sent to two teams. These are the names. So if you get called by these people, I'm the one who referred it. So if they get any other calls by some other people, they'll know that you didn't refer that one to you. Because sometimes once you get out there, it'll spread like wildfire, and you'll have 12 teams try to contact the one person.
Sure. Yeah.
And it gets tough because you got to be careful too. You got to be real careful in today's world too.
Oh, for sure. So that leads me to the question: does Paranormal Crossroads? Do you guys work a lot of residential cases?
We do. Matter of fact, we just closed up one. We've had 2 positives right in a row, and it's hard to do that, but we did, and it feels good.
Yeah.
Never go in promising them anything. I can't promise I'm going to remove them. I can't do any of that. I only can, hopefully disprove or prove the existence of activity in your house, in your home, your business, and that's all I can offer them. And I'm straight and forward with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that I enjoy doing is the research on a home, the research on a title search when you look at the home, how many people were there, what happened there, and it keeps the rust off of me.
That's awesome.
I do have a question. Is there? I'm just going to ask you since you're so open. Like, with your research, is there places that like you hit the libraries, the historical societies, or do you just kind of like computer search?
Yeah, if it's a home and they're open to it, you can ask them for their title search. I usually start there, have them produce you a title search, because when you purchase a home, you get a copy of the title search. It usually looks like a legal book that's about 30 pages, 40 pages thick. If the home is older, it's probably going to be thicker. And if they kept accurate records from the property, it'll even be thicker. Then you can start there. Look at the previous owners. Go back, see who built the house, when the house was built. It'll tell you all that, who owned the land, what the land was used for prior to the home. You can start there, and then you can venture off to their local historical society and say, listen, this is what I'm looking at, this home here, and see if you can dig up any records on it. Maybe something happened. But again, with the older homes, we have to keep in our mind back in the early 1900s, when someone was deceased, they laid them out in the parlor of their home, and that's why they call those parlor rooms.
Right.
We have to accept that. Not saying that when you lay a body out in a home, you're going to have paranormal activity, but the soul of that person could recognize everyone in the room at that time, and maybe they find themselves trapped, or something as simple as that. It could be anything. It could be anything at all. It might not even be the home. It could be the land.
Right. Yeah.
And it's endless. That's the whole point. You can dig for hours and hours and hours, and you still might not have any idea. But that happens. Most of the time, you can get a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
and if you do capture any evidence, I always tell the people, especially if you're in somebody's home, don't show excitement. Don't say, oh my gosh, we've got this killer EVP, as the homeowners are sitting there shivering in the corner of the garage or wherever they are, because that's the last thing you want to do is instill any type of fear on them. You want to keep them calm as possible, and I always tell them, we get to go home. They have to go back into the home. They have to go to sleep in that home. They have to live their lives in that home.
Right.
And it's very important, and because you're going to get the homeowner. So did you get anything? You just tell them, well, we haven't reviewed anything. Even though you might have gotten Elvis singing in the living room, you don't want to tell them that.
Right. I do have another question for you from one of the viewers here, Harley. He says, or he asks, hey, I've got a question. Never really looked into this, though. He lives in a 120-year-old home, farmhouse. He's asking, his dogs constantly get on guard around the witching hour. Is that something to look into?
Well, logically, we have to think at that time of the night, everything is dead silent. The later you go, less traffic, the dogs are going to hear everything.
Sure.
Any type of animal, usually if it's nocturnal, that's when it's going to come out and do its hunting. It's early morning. You're going to get stuff like that. Even birds start to approach the home. They might land on the roof. If you feel you have something paranormal or odd and unusual, focus on where the animal, your dog, cat, is looking into. Drop a trail cam pointing to that area when you go to sleep. A video cam. Start there and see if you get anything. The witching hour, I'm not too crazy about that saying. A lot of people got that off of was Dead Time, I think, off of Paranormal State.
Yeah, I'll say that's what I always hear. Yep.
You know what that meant on the TV show? That was break time.
Oh yeah,
That was dead time. Dead time means everyone go on their break.
I gotcha.
5-10 minutes, whatever they needed to do. But it took, yeah, exactly. But I would start there. And if you don't want to know, don't do it. Call a professional in or someone with experience just to help you with that. Because the worst thing you can do is wake up in the morning and see 150 shots on a trail cam.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you want to see before breakfast or anything like that. You got to be careful. You really do.
Yeah. Actually, he says he does have it's surrounding a stairwell, and he said he has a trail cam on it. He's only been able to record footsteps, which obviously could be anything. But Harley's a coworker of mine. So how you doing, Harley? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Then get yourself a voice recorder. Get one that does voice activation. Put it in that same spot again. Now you picked up audio on the trail cam. You didn't get any video. So now what you want to do is jump to the audio side. Even your cell phone. It's called. I think there's a voice recorder. It's called Sleep Recorder.
Oh yeah.
It's a great app. The reason why I love this app, if people are having night terrors and you want to examine what they're doing in their sleep, you have them download this app. It's called Sleep Recorder. You put it on their nightstand.
I'm about ready to look it up right now.
It's fabulous, and you'll hear them. It'll only activate when they're making noise.
Interesting.
And we did this with a young lady, and we heard her talking to somebody. And the craziest thing is we had someone answering back.
Oh, wow.
In a different voice. Now, I don't know if she was doing it, but I doubt it just because the pitch was different and it sounded further away than when she was talking. The last thing I told her, whatever you do not listen to it until we're together. And I think she listened to it, but it helped her explain why she's having these night terrors. And we went from there, and the case, took a little while, but we figured it out. We figured out what it was, and hopefully she's not experiencing it anymore. Yeah. But it's a great app, and she told me you can put that on his phone. Put the phone to where you think the activity is, and it'll only record when it hears audible tone to it. So it's a great app. It's a great app.
Sleep Recorder, is that the one that's on Windows phones?
I have one on Apple.
I mean, I have a couple. I'm looking for everybody else that might want to see.
I gotcha.
There's Sleep Talk Recorder. That's
anything that's voice activated. That's what you want.
Dream Talk Recorder. Okay. Well, I'll do a little bit more research into that.
It's a great tool to use too. Really great. And I always tell people never trade in your phones. If you could possibly keep your phone and you purchase a new one, turn that phone into a paranormal device.
That's what I did with my
camera. Voice recorders, whatever you can.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
I'm just going to read this real quick.
Yeah.
Because it was up here when I'm looking up the sleep recorder.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read the whole article.
Yeah, please.
Guy's sleep recorder app picks up sounds worse than Ghost.
What's worse? I mean,
you told me not to look at it. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, it's true. You will get other sounds too.
If you guys Google sleep recorder, at least on mine, it had all the apps like I was reading off to you guys, and I just scrolled a little bit further, and there's articles about this stuff. Yeah. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, Frank says he loves using his phone for EVPs. The voice recorders are good as any. All right, I'll have to try it out.
We use my old phone as because I have that what is that thing called? The camera.
Thermal?
Oh, the Seek XR?
The Seek XR.
Yeah,
so I had to keep my own phone. I mean, I could have got an adapter, but it's just nice that I have my own phone and I just charge it up and go with that. Yeah,
the Seek XR, it's a thermal imaging, basically plug-in device.
Yep.
Plugs right into your Android phone.
So they have it for Apples too. But yeah.
And it's nice because you can actually set your temperature parameter. You can kind of adjust it to what the ambient temperature is. So you can kind of see what's outside of that range. It's pretty nice. Speaking of apps, though, besides recording apps make sense to me. But what do you think of some of these other apps, like the Spirit Box apps and stuff like that? Do you think those are worth the time and effort, or money, I should say, or do you think they're mostly.
We have to go back to logical thinking. What is an app? It's an application. It's code. It's binary codes written into an app.
Uh-huh.
It has to be programmed. It has to be programmed. So if you get one that says it reads voices backwards or whatever, you have to take that with a grain of salt. It's pre-programmed words. You got to be careful. If you're going to use an app, thoroughly investigate the app. Do the research on the app. Who developed it? Why was it developed? Dig up some background on the people who developed it. I mean, if they're driving around in, like Ferraris and they live on the West Coast on the beach, there's a reason why they developed the app. You know what I mean? You have to be careful. I mean, don't get me wrong. When you're out having fun, you're doing your fun stuff, it's great. Fire it up and see what it can do. I just don't like to use them on personal and private investigations. I mean, I always list 3 different types of paranormal investigations. The first one is ghost hunting. Ghost hunting is a public, leisurely, go out, have fun. You hope to experience something paranormal, some personal experiences, some video, hopefully audio, but you can't take everything that you gather from a public hunt from too seriously because of the contamination level. The second one is paranormal investigations. That's where someone comes to you with their claims of activity, meaning in their home, business, whatever it might be. You're there to investigate the claims of activity. So when I do a home or business, I just do audio and video. That's all I do. I'll bring a K2 to see if I can get it to answer with the K2 or something like that. But I don't bring ghost boxes in. I don't bring flashlights in. I need some concrete evidence to give to the client itself. If I get nothing, I get nothing. Now, my favorite one is paranormal research. That's where I get to play with the toys. You go and you rent a location. And you get to experience, like I see the beautiful background you have, the Medicine Seminary. You go there and you get to experiment with the toys that you have, the techniques that you like to use. And to me, that's fun because you can try different experiments to see what the entities will do. Again, my 3 basics, if you can keep within that line, you'll find it a little bit easier to mix and match, to keep things separate if you choose to. It's not a bad platform. I've been using it for years. It's stuck with me, and I'm enjoying it. I think.
And my favorite, probably out of the 3, would be paranormal research.
I agree. Isn't it the best? You can dig down, bring all the toys out and see what works, how it works, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, we do have one question. Do you want to read that?
Sorry. Do you investigate during the daylight as well as the nighttime? I've often wondered if you'd get more residual activity during the day, since that's when spirits are repeating the daily routine they did when they were alive. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Now, back in the 80s when I first started, that's when we used to do it, from 3 p.m. to like 7 p.m. People would be home. They'd be making dinner in the kitchen. We'd tell them to live their life, to do what they do, and we would hopefully catch something. We used to charge them back in the 80s. I hated to say it. We used to charge them for development of film. We used to say, do you want a 12, 24, 36? And that was development. It was the cost of the cassette recorder. And we didn't have electromagnetic field detectors where, you take out a meter and it lights up. We used to use compasses. We actually did use it one time. And the funniest thing was a gigameter, a gaiameter. I can't even talk today. It was a radiation detection meter.
Welcome to our world. Tripping on words.
It was fun. It was fun. During the day, you have higher contaminations, so you have to account for that. We have traffic. We have people moving around. It's important to keep that in the back of your head that your contamination levels is higher. The reason why we do it now towards the evening or late at night is zero contamination. We want to eliminate that truck going by, the car going by the house, the flashing lights and everything else. We want to keep it as low a spot. But during the day, absolutely.
So let me ask you this. I mean, you just explained why we normally would investigate at night. Why do we investigate with the lights off at night?
I don't know. I'm
You know,
going to be honest with you. I don't. I use a lantern. You ever watch Kindred Spirits?
yes, I have. Yeah.
That is old school paranormal research.
Yeah.
We used to carry lanterns around, and I still do. I want ambient light. I don't want to sit in pitch black.
Right.
Now, if you're looking to experiment and trick and play hide and seek, I say kill the lights.
Sure.
So you don't want any. There was a location I used to go to, and before I used to exit the location, I used to turn off all the lights and say goodnight, shut the door, but I would never leave. I would just slide down the door real quietly, sit there by the door with just a voice recorder, and you would hear the entity approach you.
Oh, wow.
It's nerve-wracking. You're in the pitch black, so your vision is totally out, but you can hear it. And the voice recorder's captured. You should hear some of the things that I've caught doing that. Again, you don't have to sit in the dark. I mean, if you want to, you're cutting out the visual sights. I don't understand why someone would want to do that.
Sure.
Throw a lantern in the middle of the room. They sell these little camping lanterns. They pop up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got
fabric, and just use fabric paint. Go along it like black to dim it down however dim you want it, and use that one for investigation. I have a series of 4 of them. One is lightly painted, one is heavily painted, one has no paint, and the other one has a yellow tint on it.
Oh, wow.
So I get to choose what I want to use, whatever location I'm in. I want to see the entity. I want to know what they're doing. Don't get me wrong. They always have the advantage. I always tell people that we're the visiting team, no matter what.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're not home field advantage at all. And you know what? Take the advantage of light. You want to see what it's doing, because the worst thing is to get yourself pinned down in a location to where it has the advantage over you. And for all you know, you're going to lose all your power. You're going to be stuck in the dark with nothing. And that's to me, is the worst situation you can.
And it's just, and at the end of the day, it's just a safety thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walking around some old hospital or prison, and you got to watch your step.
Think about it. You're number one. You got to take care of it. The people around you, you got to make sure everyone is safe. And that's why I carry glow sticks. If they're going to kill the power, they're going to kill everything you have. Guess what? Crack that glow stick. It's a chemical reaction. They can't kill that. That's chemical, and it's going to give you the light. It's going to give you the vision to get out of the situation.
Nice. Were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, you look like you're deep in thought and about to.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. I just thought about a bunch of glow sticks.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, people wear necklaces while they're they want to get a center point. While they're ghost hunting.
Hey.
We used to wear it when we did flashlight.
Oh yeah, we did. We did. Yes, we did.
And in the beginning, no, that makes perfect sense. I didn't even think about the glow sticks.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good idea. Thanks, Joe.
You're a raver.
So,
Ghost Rave.
When you're recording video, do you think is there an advantage between IR versus full spectrum? That's something that I've always been back and forth about. Is it you just kind of experiment with both? Do you think one's better than the other?
Well, when you think about full spectrum, what is full spectrum? It's the natural sight that we can see. It's infrared, and it's also UV. When you shoot full spectrum, are you throwing out all light spectrums out at once? A lot of people don't. And so technically, when you're filming in full spectrum, you're really not. It depends on the light source. The camera will pick it up. Most cameras you can hack, remove the filter, and it's going to shoot full spectrum because now there's no filters eliminating any type of light source. Like my live broadcasting I do is off of a phone. And it's a pinkish purple color because that camera is full spectrum, but you're only seeing the infrared spectrum when we broadcast.
Right.
Now, you have to flood the room with certain types of lights.
Yeah.
So when you're doing the full spectrum, I would use the UV light, but again, UV light and black light, you have to be careful. You don't want to stare at those bulbs.
Right.
That will cause serious eye problems.
Oh wow. Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that. I sell UV lights that you can project in a room, But I always tell them never look into the bulb itself because you're cooking your eyes. The only way I can explain it, if you have something that glows in the dark and you hold it up to a light bulb and you turn off the light, you'll see the item glow. You take that same item and you apply UV/black light to it, that item will glow 5 times brighter than a standard bulb. That tells you the power behind UV.
Gotcha.
It's a hazardous. It's hazard, but it works. And I always tell people use the UV light in the investigation, but don't use a bulb because you don't want to fill the entire room where it makes you blind. Take a flash one and project it.
Yeah.
Because when you see a mist or a little orb floating through the room, I guarantee if you have a black light UV on it, you might see it. It might be about an inch big. You see it floating through the air. If you put black light UV on it, I guarantee that thing will be 6 feet tall by 12 feet wide.
All right, good to know.
You're like Bigfoot's in here, invisible.
That material, and I don't know what it is because I can't capture it. We can't put it in a bottle and bring it and test it.
Yeah,
it's very reflective. It's very reflective, which helps us. But again, if you don't want to see something like that, it's not supposed to be scary. It's just the way it's manifests itself.
Sure.
I got people that say, "Oh my God, it looked like the devil." Well, technically, I don't think it was. It's just the way it formed itself. There's a couple great photographs out there on the web that you can look at from black light photographing, and it's pretty impressive.
Really cool. You mentioned orbs. We always have that debate on the show. When people show you orbs, how do you react? I mean, have you seen an orb that you thought might be a spirit, or do you usually have a...
I never judge people on that just because I wasn't there when they took the photo.
Sure.
I'm relying on their data, on their experience, and I trust them.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a dust orb, they might say it wasn't. I believe them. I'm going to believe them. I don't know when someone shows me, what do you think this is? I always tell them, I'm not sure. I wasn't there. You were there. You tell me what you think it is.
Right.
And then it opens them up, and you can see them, talking more about it. And I told them, well, you just answered your own question.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I was telling them, write it down. Keep journals. I have 25 journals.
Oh, wow.
Stuff filled from whenever I started till this date. Where I'll write it down. I have 3x5 floppy drives in that.
Oh, wow. Floppy drive.
Has data on it. And it's not for me. It's my son knows why I do it. It's for my grandkids. Okay. So they say, hey, this is why Grandpa did this. He wasn't crazy. He wasn't off, Batsy and all that stuff. They're not made for publish. I don't want to publish them. But if my grandkids decide to, I'm going to release the rights for them to say, absolutely, you can do what you want with them.
That's really cool.
I always say, leave a trail. You got everyone who's in this field is contributing to something.
Sure.
You have to document it. Look at Tesla. Look at Hans. Everyone wrote it down. There's a reason for it.
Sure.
Leave that legacy behind so everyone knows, hey, wow, so-and-so did this, and this is helping me in today's research.
Yeah.
You never know what your findings can help develop in the future.
Let's see. Tony Hernandez, hello.
Hey.
Hello, peeps.
Tony and Frank, those are the Buffalo Phantom Hunters. Those guys are amazing.
Nice. All right. Our station manager, production manager, David Wilbur, saying, I'll show you my orbs. Thanks, buddy. Keep those orbs hidden, bro.
No, I replied.
Oh, you replied, present them.
That's from South Park, I believe.
I'm sure. Yeah, okay. I'm sure they are certainly supernatural. And I actually had a question I was going to ask you next, and I completely forgot. Thanks to Dave.
Yeah, that happens. And that's
I know that we were talking about orbs. Ray and I got to see some.
We
never something we at least I haven't seen before. They came to us at Kent Paranormal, and she showed me this picture, and it was taken with she showed me 3 different pictures, and they're taken with 3 different cameras. They all had this bluish orb in them. like this bluish.
Yeah, it was a weird. Yeah, I'd never seen anything like this either, man. It was like several different. The story they were where were they at the National Cemetery in Washington D.C.
Arlington Cemetery, yeah.
Arlington Cemetery. I'm sorry. And her students were just taking pictures of the cemetery, and several just with their cell phones, and several of them actually caught these little purple. They almost look like little fireballs, like little purple orbs, just randomly throughout the cemetery. And I don't know if you ever seen Brave, the Pixar movie, where she's following the sprite or the wisps and into the witch's house, but that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like these little wisps, like little fire, like had little flames on them. They were just. I mean, I've never seen anything like
different
that.
Different angles, different cameras, different spots.
And just I'm seeing the event, and I was a little. You sent her to me. I'm like, oh great. You just
see. This is what I like to do.
You just sent me to look at these orbs on a phone. I'm like, okay. I'm always willing, like you. I'm always willing to talk to people and kind of work things out with them, and give them reasons it might be something. Maybe help them out. It's not something. I don't really.
I send him the Ray.
Yeah, he sends it right to me. But I've never seen anything like that. So, is that something you've ever crossed in photo evidence of yours?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen anything like that, and that's fascinating. Now, this person's building a case. She has something that has piqued the curiosity of many. This is what we're looking for. If this person can go back and try to see if it happens again, maybe she's or he is a he or she. I'm sorry, he or she has found this. They could have found something new, and that's what makes it exciting. Again, a student. It sounds young. They must be young, and they're
high school kids, right?
They're finding new stuff, and to me, that's great. Hopefully, someday they can get back to that location and try to do it again and see if they can.
It wasn't even at nighttime. I mean, it was just like a tour during the day, and they were just taking. And they were just taking these shots, and if it was just one student and just one cell phone, you would think maybe something technical, but it was several different students, and they just happened to be looking at their photos and like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I think they were taking pictures of the headstones, but one was actually, if I recall correctly, it was next to a headstone, but there was a bush by it. It looked like it was in the bush.
One was like on a walkway, like a cement walkway.
Wow.
So it wasn't even, which I guess leads me to another question. Why do you think cemeteries are haunted? Do you think cemeteries are haunted, first of all? And why?
Anything could be haunted. Anything can be haunted. Again, we don't know what's there. It could be a gathering point. You said it's a military cemetery too. A lot of folks travel. A lot of energy has moved through that cemetery.
Good point.
These soldier spirits might be ecstatic about seeing these young kids.
Sure.
And they gave them something to witness. I mean, they're this close to finding out maybe what they were. It's maybe they can go back. Not only taking the photos, but run a little audio this time.
Sure.
And see if you get replies back. To me, that's fascinating, and that's something that needs to be explored. And again, the younger generation, they're going to be awesome. Really awesome.
Maybe a soldier was trying to tell their story.
Exactly. Leading them into an area.
Sure.
That's a good point.
Find more of the answers.
Sure.
And it's my day we used to have that thing called the Hardy Boys and
the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew.
Yeah, and you remember how exciting it was to read those books because you didn't know what was going to happen. It pulled you in, and it was great.
Yeah, my daughter actually reads those books. She's 12, and they're still popular.
Yeah, I used to read the Hardy Boys. My grandma had some. I think my dad's old books or something. I wish I would have had those.
Absolutely.
And it's funny you talk about the younger generation. My my daughters have this like, it's like a social media website they use at school, but it's all based on books they've read, and they share books with each other, like and write little reviews and like share it with their friends or kids at other schools, which I think is really cool. And I'm really blessed with $2. I love to read and love to learn. They must take after their mom. No, I'm just kidding. Always loved learning myself, but I'm looking at this list, and my daughter's showing me all these paranormal books that she's been reading. And I'm just I'm trying to keep myself, from getting too excited because my wife's there just kind of shaking her head like, oh man. And I'm like, God, a little ghost hunter in training right here. But yeah, I can't wait till, she's old enough to go to some of these places with me. Yeah. And, hopefully, I can teach her some things, and I'm sure she'll come up with some stuff herself that'll amaze me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's fun to see them too,
Yeah.
Because that's the spark you had when you first started.
Sure.
And you get to see it in their eyes, the excitement, the adrenaline rush of the unknown. And
sure,
especially after reading those books, now she's got her adventures, and now she can write her own book on it.
Yeah, right.
Story, which is great.
Yeah, it was really cool. And actually, I took them on a little field trip. We had a daddy-daughter day, and I took them up to Madison Seminary and just walked them, gave them like a daytime tour. And my youngest, I wasn't front loading any ghost stories. I was just, I know the history. I was giving them the historical talk, which they actually found pretty interesting. But what I also found interesting as, a paranormal researcher, we were getting to certain areas that I know to be active and have had experiences myself. And to see my 9-year-old daughter start feeling things. She comes running over to. She's like, "Is this somewhere you found something?" Because I'm feeling really spooked. She's like showing me her arms, and she's got the goosebumps, and her little arm hair is like standing up on end. So I'm like, okay, so I got an investigator and a little medium, perhaps.
Yeah. Form their own team.
It's really fun to witness, and but obviously as a dad, I still have to be the protector, and kind of make sure they're protected and we're doing.
Oh, absolutely. Right. But there's no one better to teach her than a parent.
Sure, exactly.
You can't ask for anything better. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good experience. Somebody on my personal feed wants to know what's your favorite haunted location you've ever been to?
Ooh, that's
I know
tough.
It's always a tough.
It is. There's always one. I hate to say one. I'll tell you a bunch of them.
For sure.
I love the Hinsdale House. The Hinsdale House is really good.
What was that? I'm sorry.
House?
Oh no, the Hinsdale House. I enjoy the Hinsdale House. I test a lot of gear. Dan Class has been kind enough to let me go down there and test gear. When I was at Madison Seminary, I fell in love with that place.
Oh yeah,
the history. What Adam has done to that location is unheard of. He is the 1% who could do something like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And thank God we have people like that in this field, because what they put into it and all the volunteers that went into this location and did all this work is a testament to his personality, to his respectability of people. He didn't use the people. He asked for help, and look at all the people that flocked towards him to help him. That's his character, and you can't ask for anything better than that. You have someone who's devoted their entire life to this. Wow. It's great. I'm glad he did this, and I hope he gets more locations to save, to be honest.
Yeah, actually, he just purchased the Fairfield County Asylum.
Even better. I mean, he's opening this up to more adventures for people. I mean, you just have the highest respect for someone like that. Like with Dan, when he turned that Hinsdale House around to where that house was ready to be demolished, removed from the face of the earth, and he brought it back.
Right.
And it's a great, research facility, and it's awesome. And I'm happy that these guys have taken. They're a lot younger, so thank God. But they've taken their life and they dedicated it all. And I love to support people like that because they're the real deal. They're the real deal, and I love it.
Yeah. Rick Perry says he hopes to go back to Madison in April.
I know, Rick. I'm praying for you guys. I know you have that planned. If you don't, there will be another time. But one thing we have to focus on right now is getting this garbage out of this planet for now, and hopefully we'll nip it in the butt.
Go to Madison, speak to Elizabeth Stiles, the original Mad Crew member.
Yeah, right. Well, Elizabeth.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to head back there this year.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe like on a Sunday night or something.
Yeah.
A couple people heading in there and just see what I mean. This place is phenomenal. I love everything about it. It's just great. We had some good EVPs out of there too.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. We always have incredible experiences there.
I actually used the projection technique. If you guys are ever looking to do something new, I don't know, maybe you guys already do it. You get yourself a mini projector.
Yeah.
You project items onto the wall that are associated to the location of people, of what it used to be, and you ask questions to it. And that's what we did there. And it was a nurse. I guess it's one of the pictures with the nurse there, and we actually got a response. I remember her.
Oh, wow.
And it floored me. After I got that EVP, I just felt like, oh my gosh, now this spirit has got a face to it. It has I don't know. It actually crushed me inside because they remember that person, and sort of toned it down after that because it hit me. It hit home.
Yeah,
because, they do have memories, and
and
isn't that amazing? Spirits, how they remember.
Yeah,
they don't have a brain.
Right.
So. Is the spirit really the data collector in our body, or is it the brain?
That's probably the question of the day. I mean, it's amazing because I mean they still have, like you said, they still have the memory, they still have the personality they did.
Yes.
In life. You know, it's just
scary.
Yeah.
I can go real deep down that rabbit hole. And that's the conversation I enjoy. I love doing that, throwing it out. And we have round tables here at the Paranormal Oddities, and oh my gosh, we go places, and
that's really cool though. I mean, those are the questions that we need to sit down and ask each other and just feed off of each other's answers and learn from everybody. You know, it's an interesting topic. We've done it here a couple times. Normally we're just goofing off, and you know.
I'm not gonna lie, 99% of the stuff I do is goofing off.
And it keeps it fun, doesn't it? Once you make it a job, it's not fun anymore. So you need that. You gotta kick back, you gotta relax when you do this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You need that sense of humor. I have it on our team too. It's fun. Some nights we can't stop laughing. And those are fun nights. Those are the nights that we're going to remember the rest of our lives.
Yeah, if you can't have fun doing it, you shouldn't be doing it. I mean,
exactly.
I'm pretty sure we do an improv show for all the ghosts in whatever location that we're at.
Right. And here's the kicker: usually when you're goofing off,
that's when you get the stuff.
You're not paying attention, and then asking the spirits to perform like circus animals. That's when you get your best recordings or your best evidence.
That's right, because it's normal conversation to them, and they want to be part of normal. They don't want to tell you anymore the color of their hair or when they died. They're getting tired of that. It's.
I don't know about you, but I always felt when you're doing an EVP session, I always felt that question was kind of rude. Yeah. When did you die? And like, do these spirits know that they died? I mean, it's just. Am I wrong? That seems rude to me.
Yeah, and it's a tough question. It's again, you have to, when you do the history and the research on the location, you get a better idea what questions to ask.
Right. Yeah.
Even if it's a child spirit, if this spirit died when they were young, that's the last thing you want to do is scare them.
Mm-hmm.
You want to ask them questions that they can answer, that they can relate to, and hopefully they'll find peace with it as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all get the jokester spirits too.
Yeah.
And that's where I throw my cheesy lines out and my horrible jokes. And
yeah.
We
just have Ray just talk to him like regularly.
Yeah. You're shut up. Get a lot of shut up and get out of here, EVPs.
Dad, I think maybe your graveyard is maybe just a little quieter.
What's that?
Well, because my dad was saying that he didn't think because he did live across the street from a graveyard when he was growing up, and he used to go fish down by the river.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice, quiet cemetery
Yeah.
there. You know, Carver.
Yeah, my brother lives up in Chardon, Ohio, and he lives right across the street from a very old cemetery. It's actually on like that. It's one of those paranormal websites that gives you all the locations in Ohio.
Yeah.
I think it's Ohio's most haunted or something like that, and that actual graveyard is on that list. So I'm like, dude, one night I'm over there.
Just gotta take a walk over,
You
right?
just gotta take a walk over. We'll be respectful. Take a recorder and just sit and be quiet and see what we come up with.
Oh yeah, and that's where you're going to get the good stuff too.
Yeah, right. We've actually gotten some great EVPs just doing the historical tour.
Yeah, that's where I used to get my best ones. Actually,
Yeah, he just records, and we don't ask questions. We just let whoever's giving the tour, tell the story. And we've heard voices come back that were not any of ours. So it's like just a lot of times if you just chill and just go about your business, and be respectful and whatever, and like you said, have fun and have some laughs, you'll get some interesting interaction, and you don't even know it. It's pretty cool stuff.
the only problem is trying to differentiate the laughing.
Yeah,
It's like, wait a second.
Yeah. Wait, that wasn't me. Who told me to shut up?
That was me.
Oh yeah, okay.
And if you guys ever want to try something pretty neat too?
Yeah.
When you're alone,
Uh-huh.
like not in a haunted location, you're outside quiet somewhere, do an EVP session on yourself. Ask if there's any spirits associated with you.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, a lot of people get something.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
And you see if you have anything that's not just attached to you, but also associated with you. It's kind of nerve wracking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've done that once, and I did have a reply.
Oh really?
And I took a step back and said, okay, now what am I dealing with here? Is this an attachment, or is this something that's just associated with me?
Right.
If you think about it, if you go on an investigation, when you're doing EVPs, are you talking to the spirit that's with you? You got to be able to hopefully determine who you're talking with.
Right.
It's kind of nerve wracking. I always tell people to, take that little time out, go sit by yourself. I mean, anywhere,
Right.
like in a park, just start asking questions to yourself.
Yeah.
If there's any spirits with me, is there anything attached to me that requires me as a whole as energy?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be surprised some of the EVPs you're going to get.
Interesting.
I think I just scared the hell out of the entire chat room too.
Yeah.
Or everybody's going outside with their recorders.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, don't go in the bathroom with it when you're on the shitter and start talking to yourself, because the rest of your family will think you're nuts.
No, I'm friends with a couple ladies. You've probably heard of them, the Haunted Housewives, Kathy Weber and Teresa Nargi. I've investigated with them a few times, and they do EVP sessions quite a bit. And Kathy talks a lot about an entity that she feels like attached to her. That's not so nice. They used to do a lot of work down at Mansfield Prison. A lot of investigations and tours and stuff. And she feels like a spirit has attached himself, or is like following her around every once in a while. She called it by the name, and we were in a completely different location. He came up and said it was him. And it's weird because it's not a spirit that's attached to the location we were at. So I can see what you're saying with that. I mean, you don't know. Since I've had that spirit box, every time I turn it on, almost immediately it says, "Hey, Goose."
Yeah, it always do. So far, every time I'm gonna back him up. Every time I've seen him turn it on, anywhere around him, it mentions his name.
Yeah, it's
interesting, is it?
Yeah, sure.
So now, you remember how people say, "Oh, I have haunted objects," which I do at the store. So if I were to hold up this cup and say, "Is this cup haunted?" It's not haunted. It's what's associated with it. Mm-hmm. It's just like you turning on the box. You're not haunted, but you have something associated with you, to where you start projecting that energy to communicate. They pick that up. That's why you're getting that EVP, that message on the voice, on the spirit box. It's almost like a fine line. Yeah. That's why when I go to investigate, I clear my head. And I always say these questions are intended for the spirits within this location.
Right.
Even if I have spirit guides, I have spirits attached to me that are here to guide me. I don't want to hear from them at that moment.
Right.
But they don't know if I'm asking them the question or someone else. That's why I always start off the session. These questions are intended to the spirits associated with this location, with this product, or whatever it may be. It's a fine line. It really is. And I've seen that a lot because I get the same thing with my spirit box.
Yeah.
Because I usually throw the word pickle, the pickle pumpkin, to repeat that word so I can open up a session.
Yeah.
And it's all the time.
Yeah.
And you can hear them get excited. It almost ramps it up. It almost leaves like a signature, like, oh, hey, Joe's talking. Let's get on board. Let's pick up the phone. Let's start talking to him.
Yeah.
We know the drill. Pickle, pumpkin.
Nice. That's awesome.
And it's great. But you ever notice when you do a spirit box session, the session only lasts about 4 minutes?
Yeah.
The whole spirit in about 4 minutes, it dissipates.
Yep.
We actually caught it on EVP where the entity told us to hurry up.
Oh, wow.
Hurry up. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
And then it said, I have to go. It's amazing.
I was like, do you think there's like a standard time for them? Like,
I don't know.
or is it like maybe their energy on the last? I guess it depends on energy levels, but
Right.
I mean, I wonder if that determines that.
I mean, the only thing I can come up is like focusing when I put my head like this and I'm looking in a certain direction. That's why when you're in a room and you have one person asking EVPs, and that person is getting answers, and then someone else jumps in across the room, asks a question, you lose everything.
Right.
It seems it dissipates. I believe the spirit focuses on certain energy, and it's usually you. They don't see anything else in the room at that time when they're answering the questions you're asking. That's why I always tell people, give the person a chance to ask their questions before you jump in with any other type of EVP question.
Sure.
Even with the spirit boxes too. I know you like to use the spirit box. Highly recommend using a microphone. Talk to it through frequency. Convert your vocal cords into a different frequency. You'll see a huge difference in communications.
Really?
Amazon sells them. It's a microphone with the speaker on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's like they're cheap.
Okay.
And use that when you're talking using the spirit box. Now, not only you converted your voice box into frequency, I think it's a level that they can hear even better.
Really?
I've always wanted to ask the questions on a recorder.
Same thing.
And let the recorder ask the questions.
Yeah. You will see a huge difference. Huge difference. Trust me on this one. Try it out.
Try it.
Okay.
Even on your public events, when you're on, like you're doing one of the tours, carry one of those little microphones with the speaker.
Okay.
Pass it around. Have them ask questions to the box.
Yeah.
And watch the difference you're going to get.
Interesting.
It's amazing. It really is. Truly amazing.
I've always wanted to do it. We just never have done it yet. Yeah,
there's a lot of things. Just you get into these investigations or ghost hunts that we do, and
we get into the same habits. We don't. A lot of times we don't go outside our comfort zones.
Yeah, and we need to. I think especially with talking to Joe now, I'm like dying to get
stuff I want to try.
Yeah, dying to get back out there and do some more stuff, and then mess around and experiment a little bit more. So, what?
We had to cancel ours.
I know. We had an investigation at a place we like to go to a lot coming up in March 28th, and we had to postpone that because of what's going on in the world. But,
that happens. It's tough. It's really tough. Again, I feel bad. A lot of investigators had to cancel a lot of stuff. A lot of the paranormal events, shows all over the country. People look forward to this. This is their getaway, their alone time to go to these events. It hurts. It really does. But I always tell people, get online. Let's start sharing some ideas via internet.
Yeah, I mean, look what we're doing right now. We can do this with each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm all in for that. And we're keeping our elbow distance, right? Is that what we're supposed to do?
Yeah. Social distancing.
That's right.
6 feet. I got to move. I think I'm only about 5 feet. Here you go. We actually got a bottle of hand sanitizer in between us. We shouldn't have said that. Now we're going to get looted.
Oh, I tell you, they're going to come knocking at your door any minute now.
I think there's toilet paper in the back.
So
Gargling with it.
I'm getting it from the inside. Doesn't get me.
Let's see. Somebody in my watch party wants to know, what's the scariest moment you ever had on an investigation?
Being on the show.
Besides being on the show.
There's one that sticks in my head, and I told it on a travel channel, America's Most Terrifying Locations. It was at the Hinsdale House.
Okay.
I like to investigate the Day of the Dead, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That's called the All Souls Day, too.
Yep.
In Central America, they believe the spirits are open up to communicate easier on those days.
Yes.
And we decided to roll down to Hinsdale back in 2014 with no cameras, no IR lights. We were equipped with K2s and voice recorders. And it was only 5 of us at the time. And there was no power in the house at that time.
Oh, wow.
And one of the, it sticks in my head. I even know the time at 8:05 p.m. to 9, I think it was 9:02. I think we clocked it to. The house actually came to life.
Oh, wow.
It erupted where the K2s just started to go off. Again, there was no power to the house. No one had owned the house at that time. It was in limbo. And we had asked the entity, can you do something for us to make us believers?
Yeah.
And the house shook. And when I say shook, it felt like the house was picked up an inch and dropped. And the reason why I say that, the 5 people we were with, we had a police officer with us who was very skeptical. He was standing, I was sitting. His knees buckled from the bottom up. So that tells me that the pressure was pushed up. So your legs fold going upwards, and then it dropped down. And we actually asked it, was this you? And on the voice recorder and with the naked ear, we heard yes.
Wow.
So what's the first thing as investigators we do?
Right.
Do it again. It's just a common thing that comes out of our mouth. And it did. It did it a second time.
Wow.
And it floored us. And again, the people I work with, I do have some skeptics on the team. I like to keep that balance.
Yeah.
He even witnessed a shadow figure cut through the room that, I'm not going to say alien, but it had a small body, a large head, shadow figure that made zero noise, walked through, did not set off one of our meters, had no effect on it, and continue out through a window. Blew him away. And that's what we see there. Yeah. This house would start to produce shadow figures on the outside looking in through the window. Yeah. That you would swear there was somebody out there, human.
Yeah.
So we would, again, back in that day, the door was located in a different area of the house where we could actually exit the house quicker. And we would go out there and you wouldn't see it until, again, one of our investigators was able to catch it on a camera. An actual cell phone camera. He turned around quickly and snapped a shot, and there it was. Wow. Again, it was a night that I will never forget. The EVPs, VPs, the visuals, manipulation of items, the moving of a structure that still blows my mind because it's a tough pill to swallow. You're talking not pounds, you're talking tonnage.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense. And we talk about this all the time. And that was my number one experience. There's one that's very close behind, which I believe was native spirits.
Yeah.
Native spirits are very difficult. They won't talk to us. They won't deal with us, and they'll make our lives hell. That's why I think a lot of people think that native spirits are associated with the demonic entities, which is, they're not. They just don't want us. They don't want to talk to us. They don't want to associate. You can't negotiate with them, period. That was number 2. And it was a private location that really, that one shook me to the core as well.
Wow.
I can tell you, the Hinsdale house vibrates.
Oh, for sure.
Because I was laying on that bedroom floor, and
Yeah.
I felt like the house was vibrating.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Incredible energy vibrates from that home.
Yeah.
It's I call it's like a mixed bag. You never know what you're going to get.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some nights you feel like you're in a beautiful country home, you're comfortable, you're cozy, and other nights you're like, I have to get out of here.
Yeah. Yep. I think I felt all that in one night.
Yeah, I just remember laying on the floor. I think I even said that I feel like it's vibrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it did. It was like whoop, 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 like that.
Yeah. I mean, and there's so many, like, if you go back through everybody's experiences that they've had there, mix it with your own. People have seen, it's got a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah.
People have seen, have witnessed UFO activity out there.
Yeah.
Some people have seen the Pukwudgie, or they have the Sasquatch. They have that event there every once in a while where there's the camp out and they do the paranormal. The Bigfoot search and kind of mix everything together. It's just a weird.
Beautiful.
It's
starry sky.
we were
I would have
spending.
mentioned that every time because it was beautiful.
We spent a lot of time actually outside just staring at the sky.
Shooting stars.
Yeah, because you're up high, you're a bit of a high elevation, and we just clear sky, and there was
a
a
city.
shooting stars that night.
Yeah,
I can't remember what.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but it's just an interesting mix of energies.
But it was really quiet except that owl sound.
Yeah,
there was no bugs. It didn't. Like Sarah mentioned that she goes, it was just pitch quiet.
Yeah.
That was summer, right? I can't remember.
No, we were wearing hoodies and stuff. It was fall. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I just remember how quiet it was.
Yeah.
We heard an owl or something every once in a while, but it should have been a lot noisier outside.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah. And
I mean, Dan has done incredible work to it too. He's improved. He put a driveway in. He put steps up the back trail. So you don't go skiing down the hill anymore.
Yeah.
I got to walk that big, that long road all by myself.
Oh yeah, one of our teammates got lost. He got a little bit turned around trying to find the place, and it was dusk and the.
Oh, it was dark.
Yeah, it was. By the time he got to the end of the road, he's like walking away, and I just see this fog rolling in, and I completely lose him. I don't know where the hell he's at. And he was gone for a while. I'm like, oh God, this is like the beginning of a horror movie.
And then I come rolling up. What's up, everybody?
Yeah. I kept rolling up, and then our teammate's car, and I'm like, oh God, I scared the shit out of me. But it's the inside house, the property. I mean, just the property, not even just the house. It's the whole property.
Yep. And it's great. And I see Rick online here posted Joe Palmyra. That's another one where I got a scream.
Oh, really?
It was a live broadcast we were doing, and it was on Labor Day weekend. I did a 3-night investigation where I went to different locations, and on the final night, I was in Palmyra, New York, at the historic Palmyra, which is another incredible location. If you guys are looking to investigate, they have 3 buildings you can go into. Oh, wow. Great history involved there.
Yeah.
And it was very active that night. We were in a thing called the Phelps store, where the store's at the bottom and there's a residence above back in the early 1900s. And I was not taunting, I was trying to get it to respond. And I kept, I did the old Bill Murray thing where the ghost hate this on the piano. Ding, ding, ding.
I do that every time I find a piano.
And it's a classic line, isn't it? But I said, give me the wow factor. Give me something, scream or something. And no more than 30 seconds later, I got a loud woman screaming that just happened to be right outside the door. Again, I was in this location all by myself. They gave me the keys to the place. I'd have fun at it. Sunday night, there's no one on the roads. But this scream came right outside the room that I was in, and it stopped me. It's on my page. I actually stopped. I said, what the F was that? And the first thing in my head, I kept saying to myself, I love physics and math and everything, and I'm thinking, okay, how far am I from the front door?
Yeah.
How can I get out of here without going through that exit way? It was incredible.
It's like that meme or that GIF where the cat's like trying to distance its jump, and you see all the math equations like flashing through its mind.
I'd be a dead person because I can't do math. I'd be like, I got to walk right through it.
I had it, and it was like, wow. It was great. And that's how I do some of my lives too. I like doing the lives, not alone, but somewhat alone, where I always say to the people who are watching, who are fellow investigators, no one in front of the camera. You're first in, last out. That's number one to me. I like to project that. So when I walk into a room, the camera's in front. There are no bodies in front of us. And you're going to see, if there is a ghost there, you're going to see it. If something happens, they're going to witness it.
That makes sense.
I try not to put this ugly mug on the screen too much.
No, I mean, that makes sense, though, because, I mean, and plus, like I said earlier, it's kind of interesting, I mean, you're doing your live investigation and doing the work, but it's interesting to interact and, like, see people's comments on the chat room or, in Facebook or whatever you're broadcasting on. And kind of, they're it's like you're letting them in there with you. Oh yeah, yeah.
It's great. I love it. I love everything about it.
Yeah,
it's a fascinating times we're living in. It's I was telling my wife this. I said, "Geez, when I take my last breath, the first thing I'm gonna think of is obviously my family, all the great memories. But there's a big part of my life was involved in what I do now, what I'm doing here, and I'm gonna think about it."
Yeah,
and I'm going to remember that the promise that I made when I will post it if Facebook is still around that I'm about to kick the bucket and get the voice recorders going. And, and like I said, I'm going to try to visit as many as I can. It'll probably be a quick tour because I don't know where I'm going. But
I don't know if you have too much control over that.
I agree.
Okay, this question always seems to pop up, but somebody on my feed was asking, have you ever encountered anything demonic or evil that you've had to?
A lot of people mistaken demonic and evil with native spirits. You get growling with native spirits because of their animal spirit.
Gotcha.
That's what they do. They try to scare you away. They don't want to talk to you. They want to do this. Out of all my years, I don't think I've ever ran into anything like that. I think it's so far few, and I don't know. If I did, maybe I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm hard to the core here, but I haven't ran across anything where it came in my face says, "Hey, I'm about to rip your soul out of your body and shove it down here in hell." I've never had that situation. Yeah. I mean, I don't want that situation. But you know what? It's some people say they run and cross. I mean, there's a TV show out there. The episode is the portal to hell, but you gotta take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
Everyone has a different definition for that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has a different calibration for it too. Like, oh, this is a soft, sweet entity, and someone else, it's the devil. It's just one of those things. So you gotta understand that everyone. I don't know. I hope I don't run into that. Like I said, if you see him in alive and I drop the camera and I'm screaming like out of the top of my lungs, sounding like Beyonce or something like that, and it's pretty scary. It's a serious situation.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot where I'm actually, like, oh, I'm done doing this.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't think I ever want to run across.
No, I don't think anybody does, to be honest. If you're in search for it, I wish you luck.
I can think of a couple of people that are, we won't talk about them anymore.
And if you widely used name is I'm a demonologist. You can't just read a paragraph off a line and become a demonologist.
Right.
It's not. Yeah. It's usually a mentor. You have to be taught by a certain religions. Each religion has their own demonology courses that you can take, but it's involved.
Right.
It's more of a religious thing when you. It depends. It depends. I don't want to tell anyone they're not. But be careful when you label yourself as one, because you really should know what you're doing if you're going to put that label to your name, because it's not easy.
Right.
It's not easy. And you got to be in for the full tour of whatever you're up against. You can't just say, it's halftime, I'm out.
Yeah, right.
Well, you're going to need to call somebody about this.
I'll tell you what, I'm out.
Well, you got something there. So good luck with that. And
that might be a demon. And well,
on the way out, if you don't mind if I use your restroom, because but it is what it is. And that's why we're all investigators, we're all researchers, we're all ghost hunters. It's fun. And as long as we're working together, I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Somebody wanted to know too, it's actually the same person. Have you ever had any problems with any attachments and taking anything home with you?
I'm knocking on wood right now. No, I haven't. I believe in staying strong when I investigate. I don't open myself up. I don't say, hey, can you touch my hands, use my energy? I never say that, ever.
Right.
Once you give it up, it's given up. That's an end. You might as well be using the Ouija board, full spirit open, wide open, saying do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You're giving up control of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When I leave a location, I have my beliefs. I believe in them very strongly, and I push energy out of me. When I leave a location, I picture myself being part of the ground.
Yeah.
And I push it. I call it flushing the toilet. Push it all out of you.
Yeah.
And do it as you're driving home too. And keep a mindset of, I'm one with myself. I am not a carrier. Mm-hmm. And just keep it separate. And another important thing I always teach in the class, the paranormal class I do here, and whenever I teach a class, I always tell them, I'm not a professional. I just offer you experience.
Right.
I never bring my gear into the house.
Mm-hmm.
After I let it sit in the car, and I call it let it soak.
Yeah.
Because when I put it into the trunk or the back of the van, I bless it with my blessings, and I cast whatever is out of it, and it just sits there. And I say, these items are protected by my shield.
Yeah.
And it sits out there. So just in case you get something stuck with it, it gives them time to get out of there and do whatever they need to do to get away. Now, is my van haunted? Probably. The resale value on it is going to be pretty high.
Can't wait to see that one on Craigslist. Haunted van,
slightly haunted. Heat radiator.
Gives a whole new meaning to cruise control.
All right, that's funny.
See, I bring stuff home with me all the time because a lot of times it's when I've gotten tired and not thinking.
Yeah, when you're just, okay, it's been a long night at Madison's, just need to get home, got an hour to drive or whatever, and you just kind of don't think about it. And then you get home, and next thing you know, you had some strange goings on in the house.
Yeah, my wife's yelling at me because the heater's moving in the bedroom.
By itself?
Yep.
Wow, yeah, that's a tough situation, and they don't stick. And that's another thing I tell my clients on private investigations. They all call me and say, geez, we got all this activity all of a sudden. And I'll ask them, hey, have you gone to a hospital? Something where tragic trauma has occurred where people pass and they don't know it. And they always just say, yeah, I have. And I always tell them good news. It lasts 3 to 4 weeks and it dissipates. For some reason, they can't stick.
Right.
That's why if someone goes to a haunted location and they have an association to a certain entity and say, geez, I hope he doesn't come home with me.
Yeah.
I always tell him, if he had a chance to leave, he would have done it a long time ago.
Right.
I don't think they're in that location. I think they're associated with the location. That's their way to come back into this world, this realm, is that location. Don't get me wrong. They might have multiple locations. So you might have one entity that haunts building A, and that same entity might haunt building C, which is 20 miles away.
Yeah.
What's to say they don't have multiple dwellings?
That makes sense. Right.
And again, I like to put these out there because it really opens it up. Oh, geez, I had an EVP here. It sounds very familiar to the one over here. Same response, the same everything, characteristics. Oh, let's start asking, hey, are you the same spirit from this?
Yeah.
See what you get.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Should be a different place. Hey, Ray, Joe from Madison.
Yeah, right.
What you up to? Why aren't you here?
It's Miss Stiles. You're not at Madison.
What are you doing?
What are you doing here?
Aren't you supposed to be volunteering today?
Yeah. Oh shit! Damn it!
Thanks, Miss Stiles.
Right away, ma'am. That's funny. So I want to go back to the Ouija board thing. A lot of people, there's just so much taboo around the Ouija board and the use. I mean, you use the Ouija board, correct?
Oh yeah, many times.
Now, is there?
Yeah.
Do you think it can invite evil? I mean, do you think
If your intention is yes?
Yeah. Okay.
It's the same thing with the voice recorder.
Yeah.
You feel you get something negative,
Yeah.
close it out. You're in charge. Remember, this is your realm. You're in charge of the board. You're in charge of yourself. If you feel you have evil, close it out. End that section. But close it. Project the intent that the board is closed. Tim Shaw taught me that.
Yeah.
You're in charge. If you don't like where it's going, goodbye. You're gone. You're out of here. Goodbye. Boom. Close it. Boom. He told me to slap my hand on the board, show the force and the energy, project your energy and vibration of the board saying it's closed.
Yeah.
Again, a spirit board is the same thing as a spirit board electronic. When I hold my spirit board and the SBE or anything like that, a ghost box, you're doing the same thing, but it's electronic. You're not using yourself as a vessel, but you're still using your energy. Again, with the Ouija board, you put your hand on the planche and you're moving it around. It's answering questions. So what's happening? You're using yourself as a vessel. Right. You're using your energy. Again, that's borderline is say, hey, go ahead and touch me, but that's an offer. When I'm done using the Ouija board, I'm closed. It's it. It's over.
Yeah.
I mean, again, people say they use Ouija boards and all hell breaks loose in their house. Yeah, it's a possibility because it's not the board. It's your intent. Your intent as a ritual. So now, if you look at all the religions that we see out there, they're all rituals.
Yeah.
So when you're using the board, so what's the first thing in your head? You're thinking about communicating with spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Your energy is up. You have already started the ritual. You're opening yourself up. You're opening up whatever around you, and you're creating almost like a seance.
Yeah.
You're opening it. You're ready to roll. I mean, you can use a Ouija board as a TV tray dinner. Yeah. You can cut all the TV dinners on it you want, eat, watch, read papers. It's not doing anything because you're not. The intention is not behind it. And once you apply it, you start to fire it up. You got yourself a portable seance.
Right. Yeah, those are good points. We don't really use that. Well, we don't use it in investigation. We tried it the one time.
I try not to use, because I'll say this, and I say this every time. I don't trust myself that I am not going to subconsciously move it.
Yeah.
So I don't like to do things that I have kind of control over.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's great that you say that. Yeah. I mean, that takes a lot for someone to say that. Yeah. You're telling them, hey, I don't know. I can move that. And I respect that 180%. Because most people just get on it and they're moving it and they don't realize it. But you again, your thought process is, wait a minute, I can't trust my hands because sometimes I get twitches or something. That move it and legit. And to me, that's respectable in this field. That's amazing. Yeah. A lot of people won't say that too, and I give you kudos for that.
Right. Thank you. Laura Helms says hello.
It looked like I had jazz hands though on our on the video.
We're also doing a dance class tonight on the show. I think the paranormal field just needs more jazz hands.
Oh, I'm all about that.
There you go.
I'm on the delay.
Arms.
So like I see we talk, and then all of a sudden I look at my video and I'm going.
Isn't it funny when you watch a video back and you say, my God, do I do that?
Yes.
And you catch yourself doing the funniest things.
Yeah. I just thought,
I realize how fidgety I am.
I realized that too, and I realized like because I got like this computer here, I got this computer over here, I look like I'm not very focused on the actual interview because I'm like looking at these comments, and then I'm over here looking at this computer, and it's just like, what the hell am I doing?
And I'm over here doing jazz hands, so we don't know what's going on.
Right? And just the way our studio is set up, there's like no way to like get a good close up of both of our faces, which is probably a good thing.
That's good.
Yeah, that's probably actually a bonus, but it's just the angle of the desk and everything is weird. So it's like we're never like looking at the
camera,
audience.
right? It actually looks like we're just staring at our phones the whole time we're talking to you guys.
Right.
But we kind of are. We're looking at the comments and the questions, but if you look at the video, because I've watched some of them, it just looks like we're both sitting there going.
But that's the way you monitor the chat.
Yeah, that's the way I monitor.
And that's the way I use my phone just to share to share to groups, which is easier to flip through than going through the computer thing. But I don't know. Yeah, it's just weird watching ourselves back. But going back to the Ouija board thing and the hand thing, I've been using the pendulum. I have a really cool bloodstone pendulum that I bought from a friend, Nora Custer.
Oh yeah, she's got good stuff.
Yeah, and I bought just one of those very simple spirit mats. It just says yes, no, maybe, that type of thing. And when I picked up this pendulum, I could feel the energy from it. It was weird, the weirdest thing, because she has you pick up different stones that they use in the pendulums and kind of get a feel for it. It's almost like Harry Potter and picking a wand. It's like the pendulum picks you. Yeah. And I went to reach for this bloodstone, and actually the stone itself almost swung towards my hand as I was going to pick it up, which I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like you said, you're always afraid that your hand is twitching, or you're going to move it yourself.
Or just in my head that I'm like answering the question somehow. Yeah. I just don't trust myself.
Yeah. So I like to cross check myself when I'm using the pendulum to make sure it's not me. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll have somebody else ask a question that I don't know the answer to, and see if and then I will ask it myself because I'm the one holding the pendulum. And it's been amazing how many times it's been the right answer.
Isn't that great?
So, yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool stuff, and it just that's what I like about our group, kind of getting back into that spiritualist movement, type of investigating using. I would like to get a pair of dowsing rods.
Once again,
once again, it's
I wouldn't. I like to watch them, but I don't. Like I said, I can't trust. Like I'm afraid I'll just.
Yeah,
slightly.
It's tough. I mean, I'm sure, Joe, you probably think, it takes training. I mean,
It does. Yeah, it does.
It takes a lot of experimenting with it.
And another little trick you can do is styrofoam cups. Use them as static generators. You take them, especially this time of the year when the static is so high, rub them on your sleeve, throw them on the floor. Now you have a Van de Graaff generator sitting there. So when an entity walks by, guess what happens? Those cups pull towards the entity. And when you buy them at the dollar store and you rub 25 on your sleeve and you start to throw them down, those cups start to create a little tornado when an entity goes by.
Interesting.
This is all old school. Back in the 80s, again, we didn't have high technology.
Well, my first EMF detector was a compass.
Yeah, compass is number one. It doesn't spin around. The needle will bob.
Yeah.
You'll get it to bob.
Okay.
Again, when I go to Gettysburg, I bring a compass onto the field with me.
Okay.
And I'll put the compass on the rock, and I'll use that to communicate, because you can't bring paranormal gear on the field, but you can bring a compass. Okay. And it's amazing the responses you get off of a compass. Try the same thing with the ping pong ball. Go to the store, you buy the light, thin ping pongs, you write a Y and an N on them, you put them on golf tees, and you'll ask the entities to move a yes or no.
Yeah.
They're light as air, but yet it's still a mass.
Yeah.
And they can knock those off, and they can get good distance with them as well.
Oh, wow. Interesting stuff.
We got some stuff to try.
Yeah. Well, Joe, unfortunately, it's that time of night. We got like 1 minute before the next show comes on. That's
you got it.
Show. But anything you want to promote? I know with the virus going around, there's probably not a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
I know the stores shut down for the time being and everything. But
Yeah, we're going to do that. I just like to, thank everyone for tuning in. I know it's hard times out there right now. Stay positive. Keep yourself clean. Again, if you do contract this virus, think positive. Positive energies go a long, long way.
Oh, for sure.
Again, stay strong. We're all going to get through this. And when it's over, guess what? We're all going to have one big party.
Oh, hell yeah, buddy. Yep. We'll meet somewhere in the middle.
Absolutely.
Have a good time. Cool.
Yes, very interesting.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the show.
Yeah. All right. We'll have you on again for sure, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for coming on. We're going to have to get off here, and we'll talk to you next time, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was a good show.
Yes.
I've always spoke to Joe on Facebook quite a bit. It was nice to actually talk to him, like kind of face to face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
very interesting.
yeah, we do have to get off here pretty quick. Actually, it's right at that time. So thank you guys for tuning in. Next week we are off.
Yes.
We're taking the week off, obviously for obvious reasons and just family stuff. And I'm actually going to be having to work from home next week. So we will spook you later, crypto heads. Please be safe. Keep an eye out for each other. This is not a time to be fighting over toilet paper and hand sanitizer.
Yeah, fight over food.
But take care of yourselves, and we love you guys, and we will spook you later, crypto heads.
Bye.
Bye.